Welcome back, everybody. Stern 608 Plays. We're playing the U.S. Civil War by GMT Games. We are using the Vassal module 1.16. I am table space challenged, and I don't have a proper camera setup to show you something on the table, so I use Vassal modules for my videos here. If you like what you're seeing, please hit the like button. Please leave a comment and share it with your friends. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. It helps small channels like myself keep going. We are going into turn 17 here. This was probably a huge mistake on my part with the Confederates moving Hood up here. He shouldn't have gone off running that far. Once he'd taken Bowling Green when he was moving last turn, he shouldn't have bothered to go get Henderson. He probably should have just withdrawn back here so he could defend um, anything that Thomas might try and do. But I was rash. And down here, I'm going to have problems because this army's going to way outclass my puny army here. So we have lots of issues going here. I haven't been able to break into Florida. Historically, all this would be Union by now. But I have, we're only in turn 17, summer 2 of 1864. I've already captured Richmond and Petersburg, and I'm pushing basically out of Virginia down into North Carolina. So there's lots of things going on here that are somewhat ahistorical. I seem to have done okay in the West here, Tennessee and northern Mississippi and Alabama, in delaying the Union from coming across this way. They're just the Union had to decide to just say, screw it, I have to march across Alabama. And I did something terribly wrong with the South and the East. I just got hammered and pushed out of everything by the Army of the Potomac. And I'm not sure what I did wrong, so you can look through the other videos in the series, and please, in the comments, let me know what I'm doing wrong strategy-wise. I mean, I've kind of curtailed some of his victory point grabs here on the Atlantic coast. He had to take Mobile over land. And New Orleans, of course, he took from Fort Fisher and he marched up. But that was historical there. And in the Vicksburg campaign, rather than standing there and trying to hold out with the whole army, when it looked like it was going to pretty much be able to be surrounded or whatever, I had a chance to run away, so I did. And that's why this army is still in being. But it's being whittled away because reinforcements are at a major premium. And I can't seem to get my reinforcements across into the west kind of thing. So I am having some issues trying to get reinforcements to my armies. Trans-Mississippi, the rest of Louisiana and Texas are pretty much protected against anything the Union can really pull off at me. They can't get a big enough force over there to do anything, and action points are better spent trying to get stuff over here. So that kind of gives you a quick overview. So let's get on into the turn here. Okay, and this is what I was checking the rules about Hood going across the river here. It's one strength point at a time because of the controlled Type 2 navigable river here. It's only one strength point at a time, unless he can build a fort there and then he would control that space or whatever. So, and that's why I was saying this is a very bad thing. I ran north here for no good reason. These aren't giving me victory points. They're just giving me build points. Columbus was okay, Bowling Green was okay, and then I should have just said never mind and moved back down here so I could be in contact and be able to distribute army strength points properly. And I was like, this is going to be a very bad turn. So turn 17, here we go, reinforcements. And this is going to be me just making stacks for the Union. I made lots of 1-point stacks there. Over here in the east, I put 3 in Washington, 3 in the box, 3 in Evansville, 3 in Cairo, and of course 2 in St. Louis. And then I built the fort here in Evansville. I figured if I go first, I'll have a fort there. So even if he wants to try and do something strange, he's going to have troubles. Now, this is where the Confederates placed their arsenal. That's Arkansas, which has no valid place to place because it has to be placed on a resource X. So you roll again by rule. And it goes into 7. And it's in Virginia. And Virginia only has Norfolk, which is two victory points, and Withville out here, which is, it's 1 strength point. It's 1 victory point, but it would force Sheridan to run this way to take it, which would keep him from going into North Carolina easily. So I think I finally decided to put it there, whereas Norfolk, it's like he's only a 4 march move away from getting to Norfolk. So that's why I put that there. And here's the reinforced math. I checked the VPs first. 44 resources, 4 arsenals, and 3 Mississippi River is 51. Confederates have 56 build points. So here we go. These are the blockade rolls. Bring up the charts. Bring up the charts. Bring up the charts. We're in this column over here, 1864. So unfortunately, the pinging doesn't work on these charts. So I can't like ping like out here. I can ping a counter or a space on the map, but I can't ping over here. So I'm at this column here. And it's like, no, you don't roll 2 dice, you roll 3. So I got a 6 plus 1, which was a 7. That gives me 6. Then I had a 1 plus 1, which gave me a 2. Then I had a 5 plus 6, which gave me an 8. So I have 8, 6, and 2. See, 6, 2, 8. I get 9 for Kentucky because I have 3 of the hexes in there, which gave me 94 minus 10 was 84, so it was 8 strength points again. If I'd have gotten a little better die roll here, if I'd have gotten an 8, another 8 out of this, I would have been at 100, and I would have gotten 9 strength points, which might have helped. But I only got 8. So this is me making counters again for the CSA. And so then I'm putting things up here in the east. I gave 2 to the Army of Northern Virginia in Weldon, which just made sense. And then I split this one in half to make it, and then I really am dumb here. I'm making too many counters. You'll see me delete those counters here in a second. 1 strength point in Trans-Mississippi I went ahead and put in Brashear City. Then I'm going to move the militia to like Opelousas. So. And then I'm putting the stuff in the west, I'm kind of splitting things up. 2 for Selma to the Army of the Mississippi here. And I dropped 1 in Atlanta because I was going to try and road it to somewhere. And I forgot to draw cards for both sides. So we're going to bring up the card things here. So I put the cards away for both sides. I drew 2 for the west. I got 2 west cards for the Union. I got a Trans-Mississippi and an east for the south. CSA naval reinforcements. So they got a battery in Wilmington. I didn't know where to put it. It was somewhere in North Carolina. It was either Wilmington or here. So I thought I'd put it in Wilmington. And like I say, let me know in the comments if I'm doing these things wrong, where better places would be. Displaced units, I put Kilpatrick back into the Army of the Tennessee. So I had my cavalry leader over here. And Wheeler went into the Army of the Missouri. So I got him back into an army. Virginia Militia went at the arsenal that I just placed. And I think I moved. Okay, strategic moves. Here we go. Strategic movement phase. And we have the Union doing their thing first. So I river St. Louis to New Madrid. I thought about it, and then I said, wait a minute, I don't need to river it, I can road it. I'm going to road it so I can use the 3 river moves. And I river 3 Cairo to Vicksburg. and then 3 ocean into the New Orleans. And this was me just moving the three movement points here and one from Jackson are all going to go into the Army of the Tennessee. Anyway. 3 from Bixler, 1 from Rowell to the Army of the Tennessee. I made it be bigger. And then I rode 1 from Mobile to the Army of the Tennessee. And then I went over here to check what Sheridan would become because he's going to get promoted. When I checked down here, he gets promoted, and I'm like, what's he gonna turn into? Because right now he's a 1 strength point cavalry leader. So he can he becomes like a 2-5. He slows down some. And then we've got that 7 rail that I'm going to do in the east. I did 4 in the west. Now I'm going to do 7 in the east. So I'm taking 4 from there, 5, 1 out of Staunton here, 6. I put a bunch in there with Sheridan because he's going to be able to carry that many troops. And then the rest I shoved into Richmond and Petersburg. And then I took McLaren and his 1 strength point that was here in Staunton, and I went ahead and put him in Richmond too, so that Richmond's fairly well defended. Has a 1 defensor, and I've got like a +4 on the fort, so I wanted to try and give him a decent time. Confederates get to go. Florence goes to Wilmington. Where's to Wilmington? Oh yeah, because all I had here was a militia. Columbia went to the Army of the Northern Virginia. This is me playing around with the Army of the Northern Virginia. I was having a terrible time trying to get these things to work right. And then I roaded Atlanta into the Army of the Mississippi. As far as I could tell, that's all I could really do. We go to leadership management. This is going to be fun. So we go down here and we're going to zoom in a little bit for you. Where's my mouse? There it is. Zoom in a little bit so you can see the leaders a little bit better. Slocum, Howard. Howard replaces McPherson in the Union armies. So Howard goes here, and unfortunately McPherson goes away. So I lose the defense factor there. And I was checking over here what's going to happen. It's like Ward's going to take over for Butler wherever he is, and McClellan will be removed. So I'm going to have problems. Next turn. Slocum. I dropped him in Petersburg. I think I was going to reassign him somewhere. Hunter gets removed and Sheridan gets promoted. I could free transfer Sheridan. He's a 1-2-5 right now. So he doesn't move as fast, but he can carry more troops. That's why I put 4 strength points in there, because he could just run off, and maybe in two sets of action points he could take this and grab a couple. Victory points. I went and removed Hunter, and I thought about it, and I said, I think I'm just going to leave him in the east. Confederates have to do theirs. They promote Price. So Price is over here, and he becomes 5 movement point cavalry type leader. Oh, what am I doing? What am I doing? I have no idea what I'm doing. rearranged leaders, and I took Slocum and moved him to the Army of the Cumberland here, because the Army now has I put him in the Army of the Cumberland because that gives me 3 points to attack with, and 3 generals because I'm at 17. So that's a +3 to attack, and then I'm a +4 to defend because I can use blunt in the defense. So +3 attack, +4 defense, and that means I can have Wilson go off and run off and try and regrab these things relatively quickly. That would put Hood out of supply, so he'd have to do something. And then I moved Beauregard to Beaufort and Magruder to Wilmington to try and get some defense here and some defense there, because all those generals in the Army of the Northern Virginia don't help me. And I put the North Carolina guy in Greensboro, so at least he has to attack me or attack me with at least 4 strength points. And I rearranged the militia in LA and North Carolina. Like I said, Louisiana goes up there. And I put Alabama into Talladega instead of Tuscaloosa, because it's got more stuff. And we're on to Action Cycle 1. So here we go. Confederate Initiative and of 2. So I went ahead and entrenched the Army in Northern Virginia. And I said, Hooker needs to get back to try and go for Knoxville. Union, Sherman's going to attack. And I said, I'll use a west card if I catch it, because I might not catch it. Confederates are 8 column +4 if they stand, +3 to avoid, but will not get an entrenchment as I retreat. Union's on 16 column +4 with a card. I'll show you because he's 1, 2, 3, 4. So he's +4 with and +6 if he uses a card. It's likely they get a 3, and it's likely Confederates get a 2. I don't have strength points to spare, but just giving away victory points, I wasn't sure what to do. And I said I'll be stubborn and hope for the best. So 2d6 +4. Rolled an 8, got a 12. Let's bring up the chart. Got a 12, so I got a 2 loss. And then Union was 16 column with +4 for generals, and I threw the west card. And I get to reroll 1s because I have the high morale. So that became a 5. So that's 13 +6 is a 19, which is a 3-star red. And I was 2-1 at the battle start, so I can keep on chasing him. So this is where I probably should have retreated to begin with. That's me taking off losses. He's DM'd, he retreats too. So that was one move. Second move takes Selma. And I changed the victory points up by 2. And I forgot I was going to leave a strength point in Uniontown. Third movement point. Yeah, because I started in Demopolis, I guess. So 1, 2, 3, 4 to Selma, and then 5 into Montgomery. I do need to avoid here because my army is only 5 strength, and the Union army is 13. So he's going to roll 3 dice. I'm going to roll 1 die, which means I will probably end up with like another 3 loss. And if I get a 3 loss, then I lose an extra strength point because I'm DM'd. So I would lose 4. And if, God forbid, that he managed to get a total up to 22, he could actually wipe out the whole army. It would just disappear. There would be absolutely no troops down here at all. And the Union would just start running around grabbing everything. So I was like, yeah, I got to run away. And I don't think I did. Oh, I did, because I have 1 for the commander, 2 for the cav, and according to the chart here. It's in sequence of play. You get this is weird, but if the stack is demoralized or is perceivably successfully avoided battle in the current activation, applies it to avoid battle only. So because I'm demoralized, I guess I'm more likely to keep running, I guess is the logic here. Excuse me, I had to get a drink. Get a drink there. Talking stride work. So I'm more likely to keep running, so I was actually +4. And 5 plus 4 is just what I need, because you need a 9+ to get the heck out. So I get to run away. So I run away. And then I stop there because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can't go any farther. So he got away. So I can try to do something with him, but there's not a lot I can do. I don't have the strength points to do a lot. Then I decided to go try and chase around Hood some more. So I moved to there and I said, okay, you can maneuver to here or to here. Which are you going to do? He's maneuver +2. And the reason why he's +2 is because he does have a cavalry leader, but he doesn't have any defense himself. So he doesn't do well. And I did not get to be able to maneuver. So then I said, okay, I'm going to go after him. And then he said, I'll try to avoid. And he did not. So we get another fight. Here we get, oh, this is the Army of the Cumberland here, and the Army of the Tennessee. So Confederates are 9 strength points, and they get +2 because it's the commander plus another general. So that's 2 for Taylor. Rolled a 6, got an 8. That was a 1 star. I'm on the 17 column, +3 for my generals. 1, 2, 3. And I use the last rest card for a +5. And I get a 9, 10, 11, +5 is a 16 on the charts here. 16 on the 17 column, so I'm on the rightmost column. What did I say? 9, 10, 11, 16. I got a 3 star. So I lost 3, demoralized and retreats 2, and I lose a couple. I lost 1 actually. So he lost 3. Now he's down to 1 die, so he has no defenses at all. And I have 3 dice +3. So he's got to stay away from me from now on. And then he retreats 2. That was my second movement point. And he had 9, and I only had 17, so I couldn't move any farther. So we go into Acton Cycle 2. And this time it's the Union, but we get 1 action cycle, 1 action point in each theater. So this is where I made a mistake. I probably should have rivered him, because I could have rivered him all the way down and then through Arkansas Post, or even down to here or something. So I wasn't paying close attention. Not sure what I did. I don't know what I'm doing here. I was counting Sheridan to see if I could maybe do something with him. It was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I would need another action point to get to here. And I thought, why don't I just go beat on Lee? Let's. And I said, nope, I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to go. I originally said I would go this way. I said I don't want to do that. What I want to do is I go 1, 2, 3 to take this town. And Lee's not going to move out of that position. So Grant puts control down here and moves across to Weldon. Fourth movement is because it's bridged. There's a, let's zoom in here so you can see the map. There is a bridge here going across the river, so you don't have to pay an extra movement point. So he gets there with 4, and then 5 is going to be into Weldon if he doesn't move. I've got to stand. So here we are. We'll bring up the armies again. Now we've got Northern Virginia and the Army of the Potomac, and there's the chart. So he's at 13 plus 8. He's got 2 for Grant, 2 for Longstreet, 2 for Hill, and he has 2 for the entrenchment. So he's plus 8. 5, 6, and 4. So that's 14 plus 8 is 22. He gets a 4 loss. And then Grant was 17 plus 4, so 3d6 plus 4, and I get to reroll 1s. Did not roll any 1s. I rolled a 12. 13, 14 plus 4 is 18. And over here, that's only a 3 star. So Lee actually wins the battle. But we both had red results, so they're both DM'd. So we're going to take off some strength points here. And now I think I'm DMing both of us. And because I'm on a rail line here, is that correct? He might have been, well, it wouldn't matter because we were both DM'd. And then he's there. And then he won the close battle, so he gets the high morale, and I lose it. And then in the West, for some reason I went after Hood, and I shouldn't have, but I did. So I went 1. And Hood says he's going to move closer to Nashville if he can do it. I'm only 6 strength points, but I got to try it. And it's just +2 for the Cav because actually it should be +3. Doesn't matter, I made it anyway. That should have been +3. I was incorrect. I made a huge mistake there. Oh, it's only for momentum, that's right. It's only for when you're avoiding. So he rolls a 5 plus 3 is an 8. That's right. Maneuver, you don't get to add the momentum for maneuver. So he's 6 plus 0 because Hood is, of course, because it's Hood, of course. So he rolled a 1d6, got a 3. That was a 1 loss. Union 16 plus 3 for my generals. That's 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 is a 2 star. He takes an extra loss because of that. So now he's down to 3 strength points. So I'm just grinding his armies out of existence at this point. And it's because it's Hood and he can't really retreat because he doesn't have a decent defense. And let me know if I'm doing that wrong, but from what I read, it's the commanding general's defense and Forrest gives him the where is it? It's here in the chart. It's the commanding general's defense rating, which is 0, +2 for a cavalry, which was Forrest, and +1 because it was demoralized. I think it was supposed to be -1 though. I think I screwed up. Where's the chart? Unbridged minor river or bridge network. I believe there was a unbridged minor river that he would have had to retreat behind. So that was my mistake on the avoid. I did there, and then I went moved down here so I could try to get back. If he goes and takes Nashville, I should be able to move and attack it. I mean, he can attack it 3 to 1, but I'm +6, and he's +2, -2. So he'd be at a 0, so it's not a real good thing for him to do. So, all right, Confederates down to 3 strength points. So yeah, that run north was stupid. Once I hit blowing green, when I had the last turn, I shouldn't have gone for Henderson. I should have just moved back here. So I would have been threatening to go after Knoxville. Would have been much better for me. And I moved my last movement point because I was more than 2 to 1. It turns Mississippi. I went into a blocking position over here. What I did is I started here, and I went 1, 2, grab a guy, 2, and I just sit there. So I have 6 strength points here, and the Army of the West for the Confederates has 4 right now. And then I can just sit here. So if he moves out here, I have a shot here to intercept. I have a shot here to intercept. If he moves here, I can intercept. Here, I can intercept. So I get 2 shots to intercept him if he tries to go out and like grab Camden or something. I have a way to try and intercept him. If I could get a cavalry leader back over there, it would be better, but I can't do that right now. Now, the Confederates get to do their thing. They get rid of the demoralization on Lee. And I'm like, Hood needs to run away. Let's go get behind the mountain because I'm getting really stomped on. In Trans-Mississippi, I built the fort at Brashear because I didn't think he could get there in 1 turn, which means I should be able to have it be a fort so that when he comes down here, this single strength point is going to be a much harder thing to take out. Okay. And I used the that stupid Trans-Mississippi card. I didn't know what else to do with it, so I just built a fort. We're into Action Cycle 3. Now it's Union again, but it's only 1 action point per theater. So I'm not getting the action points I need to like make a huge run to grab all sorts of victory points. So I spent 1 to take out Montgomery. So there was 1 there. And he's going to avoid DM, Cav, and Leader, so net +4. He gets away, goes run away. So I spent 1 in Montgomery. That's the second movement point. That's me trying to screw around. I don't know where I'm at with the third movement point's going to be attack. He avoids at +4. Now this is where I was like, what do I do here? I could go to Opelika and be adjacent to Columbus, so that if I avoid, I can like avoid back here, or I could try to intercept into Columbus. I can make my decision. If I try to defend, I'm 5 + 1. Union is 13 + 4. So I think I'll head north a bit, trying to maybe shield Atlanta and run over to Talladega or something. So that's 1, 2, 3, and I think I go after him to attack. He doesn't avoid, backs up. I'm there, and then I stop there and take. Sherman places a control marker there. So now I have sort of I have an LOC back there. I got rid of the DM on Grant. And then I moved over here. I said, look, it's 1, 2, 3 movement points to make Camden be 2 strength points again. Because that's the thing he can get to if he avoids Curtis' interception. He could get here, so he'd be 4 plus. What's his army got? He'd be 4 + 1. I would be 2 + 2. So, don't know that I'd win or not, but it's closer. Confederates have the same issues. Trans-Mississippi, I couldn't think of anything to do, so I threw training over here. I'm trying to get another strength point as fast as I can, because I really need it, especially in the West. In the East, I did the same thing. There was nothing I could do. And then this is where I make my huge mistake. I can't count, folks. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 to Atlanta. I thought it was 5. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to Macon. So it's like, well, you can take this or you can take this. If he gets, he's going to get at least 1 action point here. But he can't. I was thinking the army had to stay together. Okay. So I was not thinking clearly when I made this move. I was worried about the 3 victory points that I could lose there to like a cavalry run, or maybe the army moving up there and the cavalry taking this. So instead of just sitting there and seeing what he does, I did this. So I'm like, okay, I'm next to Talladega. I don't have a real good chance, but maybe I can intercept him, and try to defend Talladega. Or maybe make his whole army move towards Talladega so it doesn't go running into Georgia, that kind of thing. And I wasn't thinking. So I'm like, if he goes in the next action cycle, Confederate can reclaim and cut supply. I can run down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, get a thing back, and I can send my cavalry unit over to Selma and get a victory point back. And I'm cutting his supply off, and all these wonderful things I was thinking. And what I didn't see coming was this. It's the Union initiative with 4 action points. And this is where it's like I suddenly realized when he gets that many action points, I'm hugely messed up. So, this is what happens. The Army of the Tennessee is going to split into 3 groups. 5 strength points under Hooker are going to go to Atlanta. 3 strength points under Howard are going to take Columbus, Georgia. And 4 strength points with the Army of Tennessee and Sherman will go to Macon. That's a net 63 victory points at end of turn. Army of the Mississippi can get Montgomery and summon Demopolis like with a cavalry. My 4th action point is to actually rail Brannon to Uniontown to maybe intercept the cavalry moving into one of these 2 cities. So that's what I go do. So they will, in order to avoid an automatic victory, it has to be less than 12 off the thing down here. I don't think I go over there to show it, so I'm going to go over here. 48. So it has to be under 60 total victory points. So he has to reclaim 5 victory points somehow. And there's not a lot of places to go get 5 victory points with their small, reduced armies. So I think I said 4. Then you get 4. For some reason I have, I haven't redone my victory points. I should be at 63. Because it won't be until the end of the turn when I take control of Atlanta and Macon. And I wasn't worried that much. I'm like, well, it'll be a terrible fight, but I could try to go 1, 2, 3, 4 and just get to Atlanta. And then I thought, and when I actually get to the turn, you'll see why that's not doable. So this is me breaking up this army into and having a terrible time doing it. So there's my 3 groups. So Howard grabs his 3 strength points, and then I forget to take them with me. I'm like, Howard's supposed to go here with 3 strength points. I left the 3 strength points sitting there. So he moves 1, 2 to take control and get the victory points. That puts me up to 58 because I got the arsenal there. Might be at 58, 57. That's better. I'm trying to figure out the math here. Forgot to put the infantry with it. And then Howard Hooker goes 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to sit here, throw him off to the displacement box. I can't take control right now, but I will at the end phase. And then Sherman said, 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is forts have a generic 0 strength point, but that's why I took 4 points with me, because 4 to 0 is an automatic victory, and I capture Macon. And then here I said Brandon's going to rail himself to here. So, I mean, I need to roll an 8 or better to get him to intercept, but hey. Confederates get to go. And I think I've come to the conclusion at this point. So Wheeler had to go try and do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 is 5, 6. Why did I jump over here? Oh, because I was grabbing a destroyed, because he gets that back, but it's 1 less because of the destroyed thing. So you have to mark it when the Confederates take it back. You have to mark it with a destroyed thing so that they know that they don't only get the 1 strength point from it, the 1 build point. And then he goes into Selma. And I said, well, I got to try it. I rolled an 11. Brandon, I think, only missed 1 of his interceptions. I believe he intercepted here. He's only missed like 1 of his interception attempts. He's had like 3, and he's missed 1. So it's like ridiculous. And I think I have to try to beat him. Confederate 1 column plus 1. If I can roll a 6 or something. But I rolled a 3, so I got a star. He's on the 2 column plus 1. He rolled a 6. This is a 1 diamond, so and he was DM'd, so it wasn't even +1. It was actually -1. So it was a way long shot that I could get him there, so that was dumb. But it doesn't really matter because I did lose a victory point. And here's where I find out that I said, I thought the Army of the Mississippi could reach Atlanta. But I'm wrong because it's 1, 2, 3, oops, +1 because it's an unbridged river for 5. And I don't have 5 movement points. I only have 4. So I said, okay, my second AP, Hood's got to go and try for Nashville. It's terrible odds, but I have to try it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because I got to get those victory points down, right? So here we go. Confederate is on the 3 table with 0 because of his DM, right? If you look at his army, he's only a 2 attack. He only can use 1 general, and he's -2 for attacking with a demoralized. So it's on the 3 table here, which means he could do it. He rolled a 1. So all he got was a diamond. And he's on the 1 table, +6 for the fort, which means the minimum he can get is a 7. And he got an 11, which is a 1 diamond. Hood loses and takes an extra damage for the demoralizing, because he's demoralized and lost a battle, so he takes another strength point loss. So he's down to 1. Hood has 1 strength point and 4 generals. And I'm like, I'm running out of things I can even try to do here. Army of Mississippi can't get anywhere to intervene on this. And I was like, I made a huge mistake. These guys are actually out of supply. They don't have a 4 movement point back here because I couldn't take the time to do this in order to capture these. So I needed to roll foraging for them. They're not isolated per se. Or maybe they were isolated too. Might have been isolated too. I think they were isolated too. So foraging chart here. I was on the 5 column, rolled really high, so I was -1, so I ended up with a 5, so I lost a strength point. I'm a -2 here. I roll a 3 on the 4 column, but -2 means I lose nothing. I'm not sure. These guys might have been considered isolated because they don't have an LOC. So they should have been rolling for surrender. Could they have surrendered? That's the question. +1, any general's defense rating, +1. There's a possibility. Not for Sherman. Sherman could not have been surrendered. This guy technically could have rolled a 1. I think those guys were isolated, so I think I messed that rule up. He rolled a 3, so okay, he's fine. He would have taken 2 surrender points, but that would have been fine because the next turn we would open up the line here. Because we would have victory points, and even if he took something back, I could open up a rail line just by going here. 1, 2, 3. I'm fine. And then it's 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 5. So, I might have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, or maybe send my cavalry guy off here, and then we have rail lines setting up everything back to Montgomery, and then we'd have to take back Montgomery. We could have reestablished our supply lines relatively quickly, but so there should have been a surrender die roll there. Well, I'm set to gain 6 victory points, 2 for Atlanta and 4 for Macon. Okay, if you go over here to the victory point count, that would put me at 60. It puts me up higher than that. 62. So I don't, because I'm at 6. If I get 6, I go to 62. So that would be, if you take away 12, that's 50. So that's 2 above the threshold. So he has to get back 3 victory points. And I was like, the only thing I can think of is to go get, if I can get by Grant. If I go this way, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can't get even to Petersburg. I have to go 1, hope Grant fails. 2, right, I can overrun if he sits there. So I can go 3 and then hit Richmond for 4. Right? Not real good odds there, but I do have the morale. So it's like if I can get here, maybe. So it's a matter of whether. And this is the game. So I have to move here. And I'm +3, 2 for the cavalry, 2 for the Grant, -1 because I'm intercepting across the river. So it's 7 + 3 is 10. I make it, and I will stop Lee. Even if I lose the battle, I stop Lee. Because he can't continue moving because he doesn't have 2-to-1 odds on me. And it's like, this is one last battle sequence just for fun to see what happens. He goes ahead and plays his cards. So he's on the 11 column +5. He's 2 for him, 1 for another general, which is 3 + 2 is 5. So he gets a 9 + 5. 14 is a red 3. I mean, he can't get it much better. Okay. And Grant is 15 + 5 for his generals. 2, 3, 4, 5. So he's +5 for his generals. And +1 because he was crossing the river. So I'm actually +6. And I rolled 6, 6, and 3. So that's 12, 13, 14, 15, which put me up to 21, which is a 3-star. It's a red 3-star, so he loses 3, has to go back to where he came from. And he loses his high morale. And then I said, there's one last thing I can try, even though it won't make much of a difference. I can try to go to Knoxville. I figured I should try it. I had to maneuver. I did not make it. Then I intercepted. And I made it with a 9. I got 1 star. Union got a 5, which is a 1 star, so it's a tie, but Union is demoralized because of LOC only. But it's like, we don't care. And we go to the end phase. This is where we make control markers. So I get the arsenals. So it took me up to 4. Took him down 4. And then Atlanta gave me 2 more. We have 62 Union victory points, 0 Confederate victory points. And that's over 12 more than the threshold of 48 for turn 17. So that's it, guys. Really miscounted the movability of the Army of Tennessee to get to Macon, Georgia, and take Atlanta and Columbus and Georgia. I miscounted from here what I could do, not realizing that there's no movement point penalty for going over this river or this river. So it's like one guy goes here and grabs 2, one guy goes here and grabs 2, one guy runs here and grabs 5 or grabs 4. So that was like 2, 4, 8 right there that I didn't see. And if I had the Army of the Mississippi here, he probably would have had to attack me. He might have run over here and grabbed 3, and if he attacked me and I did an evade, like to here, and then he attacks again and I do an evade, and it's just like kind of lead him around a little bit, so maybe he can only get to one of these things. Probably picks up Columbus and maybe gets to Atlanta or Macon, but probably Atlanta because I would retreat more or less towards Macon. So that was bad decision right there. That was a bad decision, and Hood running northward was really a bad decision. If he'd have been sitting down here with 8, the Army of Cumberland would have had to sit here trying to fight me in here, and I probably would be better off, and I might have been able to pull off like a run here to grab a victory point or something. So I think I should have rolled surrender dice rolls here to get surrender point. But I think I could have recovered from it relatively fast. Got them in supply in the next action phase, and that would have been all I needed to do. Right? So I think I would have gotten them out of supply problems relatively fast. And he doesn't have a lot of, I mean, he's only going to get maybe 7 strength points next turn. He would get, his arsenals are not at 13. He should be at 17 minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Minus 6, so he would be at 11 arsenals. He'd get a 12th next turn. And his build points are like at 41, because I'm at 60. Well, let's see, I'm at 62 minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. -9. So he's 51. He should be at 49 build points. So he'd be 49 plus 12 is 50, 61 plus his blockade roll. Yeah, even if he got 3 8s, he'd be at 50, 62 plus 24 is 88, minus 10 is 78. So yeah, he was only going to get 7 strength points at max. 3 in the west, 3 in the east. And 3 in the west, 3 in the east, he doesn't have enough strength to fix anybody, really. So it started off looking like a halfway decent defense for the south, but in the end it didn't work. And then this was a huge mistake. I could have had the game probably go on well into I don't think there would have been a problem getting Lincoln reelected, but I don't think I could have held him at 60 because he was already at 62 and just going to start grabbing more points. He doesn't need to grab a lot more. Now it's just a matter of just screwing around with my production. So it'd be like consolidate all this here, with LOC supply lines for the next turn and recapture Montgomery, stuff like that he could just do. And then, yeah, it would be a problem. So I think I'd do some more discussion. Union got the right number of action points in the initiative at the right time to make a run at automatic victory. Because if we'd have been only at 1 or 2 action points this round, it would not have made it. He would have gotten like Atlanta and Columbus or something, but he would not have made it all the way. I'm sure I made many mistakes along the way, strategy-wise, and I know I botched at least a few of the rules on the way. Like right here, I think these guys are actually isolated. This was my first full campaign game. I added 3 of the 5 optional rules. I added the 2 army rules and the maneuver rule. I've looked at the other 2. I think the 2 action point rule, where you get a free action to basically not do combat, it kind of lets you get somebody who's like in the back lines move forward, or move to a new garrison position or something like that, or get a cavalry leader that's like too far afield, get him running back towards the battlefield. So that might be a worthwhile one to do. And I don't remember what the 5th one was that I didn't use. I'm gonna go look it up here. Oh, the salt hexes. So 1 salt hex gone, you don't lose any build. If there's 2 gone, you lose a build point. There's 3 gone, you lose 2 build points. There's 4th gone, you lose 4 build points. So that's just another drain on the southern economy, and I think they can be drained pretty well without that. The biggest mistake I made was the whole DM thing here. There's a thing in the leader, getting leaders or removing leaders. It says if a leader's name is in red, he's removed. But actually, if it says DM, he's not removed. They're supposed to stay on the board. So I could have had McDowell helping me move some troops around where I was like, unless I could rail him someplace, I couldn't really move him. And he could have been like in charge of 4 or 5 points moving on Knoxville early on, which, I wasn't able to do. And then that also applied with, where was it? Who's the other one that happened to? A couple other dams. Oh, Burnside. In turn 9, Burnside was demoted, but if he'd been still on the board, he becomes like a 2-star general, like he is here. That's a very useful general for doing invasions, That +1, give him a +1 from the Navy. You could make some decent invasions, like at Jacksonville, or grabbing some of these forts and stuff. So that was a definite drag on on him. And then Holmes here, if he'd have been available sooner, I could have transferred him to some other defensive positions and, had a little better ability to move things around. The South just doesn't have a lot of um, strength point stacks to move around. Generals are going to be moving around 2 or 3 strength point stacks, besides the armies facing the big Union armies. And that's just not enough to counter all the things the Union can do. And it really comes down to a die roll game of who gets the differentials. And let me know in the comments about my less than stellar play. These will be posted to the Board Game Geek video section for U.S. Civil War now that I've completed the game, because I wanted to put in there the time frame that I played it over, which was July 30th to, what is today? August 26th, 2026. So played the game over roughly a month using Vassal here. I obviously messed up a couple of rules along the way, although I think I got majority of them right. But yeah, I'm interested in what people think of my attempt at strategy for the South. The way I defended, I tried to garrison a lot of the ports and make it unenviable to do invasions. The free naval move is like, yeah, you can get the Navy to come and attack a fort or something, but then if you don't follow up with a march by the ground troops or an amphibious invasion by the ground troops, it's not going to work real well. So, and I always felt like I didn't have enough action points to do like contending in Kentucky and things like that. Important things like New Orleans, some of the forts over here on the east. If I'd had half a brain, my invasions here after I got to here and here, I would have dropped one of my invasions to Elizabeth City to threaten to go 1, 2, 3, 4, while he's up here playing around in Vicksburg. And the idea is just to get here so I can take out Norfolk before I can do much, and then he's got to put some troops down here to keep me from running off and doing shit like capturing Richmond. So he has to do something which draws away his army from elsewhere. So there were definitely some strategy mistakes on my part for the Union, and I'm not sure if I could have done any better with the South. I really don't think I could have. But you guys need to let me know what you do when you play the South, and what you do when you play the Union. I never put back my Kentucky militia guy. Yeah, he probably would have been in Louisville. But yeah, I think that's the game. And that's the end of the log file. So, if you liked what you see, please hit the like button. Please leave comments. Please share it with your friends. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe to the channel. It helps small creators like myself keep going. There will be more playthroughs like this. I don't know which game I'm going to do next. I will probably put up a poll over the last weekend here in August about the next war game, Vassal module thing. I'll pick maybe 3 of the ones that I kind of want to do, or that I've already started doing, because I have one, The Hunters, which is a sub simulation, a solo sub game, which I find rather interesting. And then yeah, I'll put a couple other games out there for possible solo play. You know, let's play like this, where I'm just trying to make sure I get all the rules right for you and show you a strategy, not necessarily a good strategy, but a strategy, which is kind of what happened here. I was kind of funneled into what I did with the Union, because the first 3 turns or whatever, I was getting Trans-Mississippi cards all over the place through 1862, early 1862. So it's like, well, I'm just going to go, just go attack in the Trans-Mississippi. Why not? I didn't. That was where I had my advantages, so I figured I should go do it. And I ultimately, ended up taking out Arkansas relatively early, And then from about 1860, 1863 on, I was just like, just sitting here, just hanging on to what I've got. Well, I tried to push forward onto things like Vicksburg and stuff. And, this took me a while to engineer and figure out how to do. But once I finally did and managed to capture all of the Mississippi here, that's a nice big bonus of 3 victory points. So, yep. Anyway, like I said, like, comment, share it with your friends, and please subscribe. There will be a poll posted up on the channel after I get this one posted up to YouTube. Like I said, it'll probably be the last weekend of August 2026. I'll leave it up there for a few days. I'll take a few days off from creating wargame stuff like this. I do have some videos I want to try to record that has to do with a tabletop role-playing game called Traveler. If you know Traveler at all, I am basically going through the features on the Roll20 character sheet that they have created to kind of show you how you can use that as if nothing else, as a referee to kind of keep track of what's going on in your game. Rather than having to have reams and reams of books, you can have it all, on the screen. And if you have it hooked up to a big TV, you can show people, hey, this is what the ship looks like. This is what your ship looks like, and this is what um, your starport bar looks like, or whatever. You can at least give them some graphic things that they can see on the screen, and then they can translate to, okay, I want to move over to that bar, and you point on the screen, and they say, to this one, yeah, I want to go to that, that serving station or something, and talk to the barmaid or whatever, and stuff like that. So I've tried the couple VTTs. There's the one that's available on Steam. Is another one that there's a lot of content that's been made for it. So, and Mongoose seems to support these virtual tabletops, so that you can use them to play the game, which I think is very admirable. The fact that when you buy their books, they'll give you a PDF of it to go with it, so that you can, hit the index in the PDF. It actually takes you to the page that you need to get to, which is a lot faster than trying to dig through the book, especially when it's something you hadn't really prepared for and you just need to get to a table and it's like, oh, it's here. So anyway, that's something that's going to be coming up on the channel. And there'll be more war games, but I don't know exactly which one I'm going to do next. That's going to probably be up to you guys. I'm going to try and look in my my Board Game Geek library and think of maybe 2 or 3 games that I'd like to play. One of them is definitely The Hunters. And then I'll come up with a couple others. If anybody would like me to do another one of these, they can. That can be an option too. There'll be a 4th option will be an other, and then in the comments you list off the game that you want, so that I have something to work with. If I get a bunch of different games in the comments things, I might put up a second poll with some of those games in it and say, hey, I have these 3 games out of the 5 that were suggested. Anybody interested in these? So let me know. Okay. All right. I'm Dren 608. Until we meet again, stay safe and bye bye.